Another week, another round of accomplishments from this administration, if we can even call them that. Welcome back to Literal BS, where we cut through the noise and point out what happened this week in American politics. Spoiler alert. It's not much, unless you consider intimidation tactics, hypocrisy on the world stage, and a continued cover-up of the Epstein files as milestones worth celebrating. Let's start with what should have been a routine event. California Governor Gavin Newsom holding a press conference. But of course, this administration couldn't resist flexing a little muscle. ICE agents were conveniently placed nearby, clearly not to enforce the law, but to send a message. That message? If you speak out, if you stand against the narrative, you'll get the shadow treatment. Agents hovering like vultures, reminding everyone that this government isn't above intimidation. It wasn't law enforcement, it was theater. And the target audience wasn't criminals, it was the American people. Sarcasm aside, this is what law and order looks like in practice, using taxpayer-funded agencies to try and rattle a sitting governor. Moving on to international affairs, because this week's headlines made one thing clear. Hypocrisy is alive and well in U.S. diplomacy. When Vladimir Putin walked into the summit, he was treated like royalty. Red carpet, cameras, handshakes, the whole show. Compare that to the cold shoulder Ukraine's President Zelensky received. Barely acknowledged, sidelined in discussions, and treated as an afterthought, even though Ukraine is supposedly our ally in a war we claim to care so deeply about. That's not just embarrassing, it's dangerous. It sends a signal that dictators get the respect while allies get the scraps. Imagine the message this sends to the rest of the world. If you're a strongman, you'll get the stage, but if you're fighting for democracy, don't expect more than a polite nod. Meanwhile, on the domestic front, we got another week full of talking points with little follow-through. Claims of economic wins, when inflation still eats into paychecks. Boasts about securing the border, while migrant deaths continue to rise. Announcements about supporting working families, while housing prices remain out of reach. Every soundbite was crafted to sound like progress, but dig deeper and you find the same thing we've been seeing for months. Half measures, spin, and policies that serve headlines more than people. And then, there's the elephant in the room, or should I say, the file cabinet that never opens. Yet again, another week has passed, and we still have no Epstein files, no Epstein list, no accountability for the powerful who rubbed shoulders with one of the most notorious criminals of our time. Politicians, celebrities, judges, everyone knows the names are there, but somehow the most transparent government in history can't seem to produce a single document. Funny how secrecy and cover-ups are bipartisan when it comes to protecting the elite. The silence is deafening, and the corruption is in plain sight. Throughout the week, the administration's so-called accomplishments boiled down to more of the same. Spinning narratives while ignoring reality. Intimidation disguised as enforcement. Diplomatic hypocrisy on display for the world to see. Domestic issues were kicked further down the road. And, of course, the Epstein scandal was shoved deeper under the rug. So here we are at the end of another week, left to ask, what was achieved? If the goal was to remind Americans that our government plays by its own rules, mission accomplished. If the goal was to erode trust both at home and abroad, congratulations, they're succeeding. But if the goal was to lead with integrity, transparency, and strength, that's still missing in action. So that's the roundup, folks. Truth the media won't package neatly for you. Another week of empty victories, staged intimidation, double standards in diplomacy, and a file cabinet full of secrets about the powerful that's still under lock and key. Welcome to American politics, where corruption is bipartisan, allies are ignored, and dictators are embraced. And let's be blunt. The people still cheering for this administration? They're not seeing reality, or they just don't want to. Something isn't ticking correctly with them because no clear-thinking person can look at this mess and call it leadership. Stay sharp, stay informed, and never settle for the bullshit they serve you. This is Rob. See you next week, and remember, the lies only work if we let them.